Well, new year, new Loki. You get Bloki. No, me and Loki were thinking how to freshen it up this year. She asked if I would be interested in helping out a little bit and making some videos, because I went and bought a new toy. I got myself a Series 1 BMW. I've done the Japanese stuff for a hot minute now. So it was time for me to have a bit of a play around with something to spark my interest and see. So I'm going to go through from a stock configuration and see what I can do about turning this thing more into a drift car. So Loki thought that you guys may be interested in seeing the journey on that one. So let her know down in the comments if it's interesting, or you don't interested and just want the Japanese cool stuff. Yeah, help us with a name for it all and stuff. We're just thinking builds by Bloki or something like that, because some of you guys made a funny joke about that translation. But yeah, so what we're doing now, you kind of get to miss the boring part. So what I'm doing, we took it out for a drive the other day to test it for the first time in its fully stock configuration, and while it has awesome amounts of mechanical grip and is really fun to drive, it's pretty unpredictable with the old Diffie boy. So first things first, before we do anything, I've ordered a bunch of other stuff like coilovers and everything, and show you how we go about putting all that in. But number one thing is I've got to get the diff doing what I need it to do. So that's what we're doing here. So you've missed the boring part of getting up to this. So all in all, the BMW diff is really easy to pull out. I'll give it credit. This is all I needed to do to take a BMW 1 Series diff out. I got lucky. The European guys have a big nut here, and they have to take the tail shaft out, which makes it a pain, but the Australian models don't. They're just literally like the Nissans with the 4-bolt, and then 6-bolt for the half shafts. So we were laughing with how easy that was to get out. I didn't even have to take the bottom tray off. I didn't have to take the exhaust off. I'm lazy, so using the E12 is pretty much, being a Beamer, it's got all this, I'm sorry guys, being a Beamer, it's got all this terrible stuff on it. But yeah, using a floppy headed E12 that took all the tail shaft out, all the axles out. It was like 18s, 21s to take the 3 holding the actual diff in, and then it just rolls out. So in that sort of regard, you didn't really miss much. That was a pretty basic step. And then these run a pretty basic stub axle. Same, I marked them like any good boy usually does, but they do appear to be same C-clipped, so it's not too important. And then I make these little bad boys to add some strength in there, and you've joined in right as we're about to sun noodle this. I was just setting the sun noodle up, and then we'll get this welded up, and then I can show you a bit more about how we put it back together, which gives you a reverse of how you pull it out, which makes it really easy. Yeah, so welcome to turning that thing into not such a crap drift car. Good grip car at the moment, but yeah, we're going to take the grip out of it and turn it more into a drift car, and we'll see how we go. Okay, step 1 on the sun noodling. Just got it tacked in place, and then we go around the entire thing, and then I'll probably also weld the planetary gears to the casing, because for added strength essentially, and don't want any of it really having a chance to move around or anything. So oh, sorry, just quickly too, if anyone's wondering why I've still got it on its side, it's mainly for splatter issues. It is a lot easier to weld downwards, but I don't want the pinion getting any, like, this sort of like little splatter stuff getting stuck on it. So I'm welding in this position mainly for cleaning, and my gear's good enough to be able to do it, so yeah.
How goes your diffing?
Not sure, it's pretty hard to record and weld at the same time. I don't have none of that fancy stuff, I'm not a YouTuber, but we're just showing them kind of roughly what we're up to.
Yeah.
Okay, side one, all welded up, welded the case to the planetary gears, put my plate in, got a whole bunch of weld up in there. Sorry that lighting is terrible, but you get the general gist. And now instead of spinning planetary gears, we have a locker. And this is the second side. So this is just going to be a rinse and repeat. I've already tacked that one in. So we'll just go around that one now and weld that one fully in too. If you're wondering why I did this in car, it's because unlike all the Skyline stuff that I'm used to with the 2-bolt, it looks like this thing needs to have like the bearing pressed out. So I'm not quite sure how the carrier and the bearing work to disassemble the center of the beam of diff, and it just seemed much easier instead of messing around with that, just a sun noodle with the crown and everything still on it, because there's a fair bit of room. So I think it's not going to be the best job, what it would be if you could take it out, have it cleaned and doing it that way, but at the same time, as you saw, it's effective. We've got lots of weld into that bad boy. It's now doing what we need to do. So let's do this side, and then we'll just clean it all up for the little spatter marks and stuff like that, so there's nothing. Check all the crown and stuff, make sure pinion hasn't got any splatter stuck to it or anything like that, and then we're good. Yeah, that's roughly most of one side, but you get the general gist of how we're going around this. Trying to close the gaps as much as possible, not biting off more than we can chew, just trying to get it hot and melted. And for the love of God, guys, there's one simple thing when it comes to welding. Remember your safety Crocs, for crying out loud. Your welds are better that way. And one spicy diff, but I'm not too worried. I think that will be well and truly strong enough. So that's side 2 all welded together. Spins without even cleaning it, so that's a good start. Second side, she's not gonna go anywhere. Alright, now we just let that cool down naturally, so we'll tap out for a bit, and then once it's cooled down a bit, we'll get as many burrs off and clean it up a bit and go about putting it all back together. Alright, quickly guys, okay, I got all the dags off and everything that I was particularly worried about, but I thought I would show you this one quickly before we put the back cover on. So I figured while it was apart, we'd just check the ratio of it. So all you got to do is just mark where you're starting, count all of these and get however many there are here. Then we count what's on the pinion. This is the crown, and then we divide the crown by the pinion. So we'll count those, and then we'll see what ratio this is. A 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. But I'm not going to do that while holding the camera, so we'll be back in a sec. Now we've counted it, so what I got was 42 on the crown and 13 on the pinion down under in there. And then you pretty much divide that by itself and it gives you your ratio of your diff. So this is a pretty long boy, 3.23. Okay, so definitely could go up if we're wanting to get the gear ratio shorter, and but we'll see how it goes as we start actually drifting. But that's essentially how you count your gear ratio of your diff. Next, the shafts go back in, and as I said, they're just C-clips, so they punch out, punch in. Oh, that didn't go back in. Next, you just hit these back in, as I said, circlip. That one was really difficult, so I kind of just had to step away from the camera there. Let's hope this one goes in a bit easier to show you. Ooh. Sammy, can you hold that for a second? That one went a lot better. It does pop this off, so just make sure you make sure that's backing off the body, but essentially locked if. Yeah. Okay, now once your half shafts are in and triple checked, because they were very hard to actually get in, hopefully I didn't have a dags or anything in, but I've checked it and got them all in and I'm happy with it all. Next, you get your RTV sealant, put it on that bad boy. Savvy. Once you go black, you never go back. It's the best RTV. Make sure you put it on the right way, clean everything down, and block! And then so on and so forth, bolt it together. Then we'll go to the next bit. Okay, next you put the diff back in after your seals had some time to set. It's pretty basic. This is what I meant when I was saying before, but I was pretty lazy, didn't take the shielding off, didn't take the exhaust off. Got lucky enough that with the right runner tools you can actually just pop this thing out. So yeah, diff goes in next. I just use the jack. Make sure you get this lined up as you're going back in to make your life easier. I just put a couple of guide bolts in it. Yeah, locker. Yeah, just to keep that from being difficult once this is mounted up. So I just kind of put the guide bolts in, raise it up. Apart from that, you got the 218s at the front here. Don't forget to put your exhaust one back on. That just goes onto the back of that one. And then after that, you got the 21 up here. So it's only the 3 bolts holding the series one in. Don't forget, it has a nut on the back here. So, actually it's like a bolt and a nut. So nuts on this side. But yeah, otherwise you'll just turn it forever and it won't actually come out. You actually gotta hold this side as well. But yeah, I'm just finishing tightening this up and then we've got the next step. Okay, next, once you've gotten these 3 bolted in, I left this off because it's easier to do this, but just don't forget to put it back on. Next you put your E10s, or E12s, sorry, is what they were, E12s. There's 6 on either side to hold your shafts in, and then 4 up there to hold the tail shaft in. I've got them all basically nipped. So that's your next step. I'm lucky enough to have the human-sized tool in the shape of the lovely lady, Sammy. She's going to do the handbrake for me. So if you've got someone that can help, it makes it a lot easier because we'll pretty much turn, lock, tighten, but everything's going smoothly. Okay, and then once you got all that tight, last step, fill her up until she falls out the hole. That's just that simple. You need 14mm Allen key and put the sun plug back in, and then you're done. Locked diff. Alright, I'll get this filled up. Okay, success. We have welded a diff, but on my first test night, when we were going out doing some driving, the guy got the car off, cut the exhaust back there, and I didn't think too much of it at the time because he had it like that, but apparently he didn't drive quite as hard as me, and I melted the entire back of the car. So I've got to get my rear bar back on. I'll get Loki to insert some photos of all the melted plastic. I was lucky not to light it on fire, but now we've got to see if we can get the bar to fit back on before we can actually get it back on the ground. Wish me luck.